찻도. meow 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 meow. Very cool. Appears to be. We appear to be live. Yes, yes, yes. Sound archive. What is this? Oh my god. That's a live recording. Not anymore, is not. Hello, George. Hello, 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 hello. What am I doing? Anyways, right. Stream ref EOI. Hello, Deemer. 안녕. 안녕하세요. Become annoying Mimi. Very cool. Very cool. Kimchi jjigae. Yay. Wait, hang on. Does it translate my... It did. It did. Kimchi stew. It says kimchi stew. Look at that. I ate kimchi jjigae on Tuesday. Tuesday eat kimchi jjigae. 먹고 싶다. I don't know what 먹고 싶다 means actually. I forgot. Anyways, I get hand done. I can start color and then maybe we render, maybe not. I don't know.そんな考えなくてもいいか、これは。どうだろう。とりあえず、参考を探しましょう。I feel a little bit groggy, if that's the right word. Just woke up. Which way is up, which way is down? I do not know. Which other way? Do you know the way? Hello, Kirio. It's possible, I think. Oh, I see. Inject, okay. Hello, Brett. Oh shit, Happy New Year. I saw your comment just now, literally. I don't mean this chat, I mean like your comment on the video yesterday. Happy New Year and good night. Indeed, thank you. 그러다 도착. 요이. 쇼. 가자. 벌칙 차이가나. 아, 이 있잖아요. Hello, my God, I swear to God, I was gonna almost call you dailies. Duvet. Hello, duvet. Hello, dailies. Thank you for the duvet. Nakamura. What is this? Huh. Wait, what's their handle? I got like the results are kind of abysmal. A creative professional in media production. I have a IMDb entry. And then I've got some other stuff. And then there's this. But Insecure Protocol by X.com. Oh, that's amazing. This thing only has like this. Namakura? Ah, okay. Very cool. Thank you, Duvey. Yum, 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 yum. Okay, let me put it into this thing. Very cool, very cool. What? It's green on the inside. Wow, very green. Hi, hi, hi. Fish. It's the face kind of and eyes kind of reminds me of another artist, but I don't know what they're called. And also they draw loots and only loots. And the originals, I guess. Oh, the shadows feel so light here. I can barely even see any shadows. Hello, Senduck. Laws. Oh, I see where you're going. Santa Claus. Oh. Very cool. I sound so disinterested. I just woke up. Yes, yes, yes. Happy birthday. No, I'm just looking as Duvay's dailies. DD also is like due diligence. Wow. Anyways, I'm just looking respectfully at the clothing, of course. I mean yeah, it's not much to comment on. I feel like it's very simple. There's not that many colors in there. You know, the shapes make sense. And it's clear, like the shapes are very clear. I like that. On the left up a couple of rows. This one? Perhaps this one? Do you want the link? I'm sending you the link. I can send you to this one. I just wasn't sure if this is the one that you wanted, but this one as well. Big Bobas. Oh, wait. Some materials rendering. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, the lines is sometimes there, sometimes it's not. Thanks, Suve. I don't have too many thoughts today. I feel like that's every day though, but Eesh. Whoa. Is that too much skin for YouTube? This word here, because of the way they stylize the L here with the water, it looks like a R, and the A kind of looks like a O. It's interesting. Wait. Okay, no one's pointing it out. Yeah, O and R. Doesn't it not look like O and R from afar? Yeah. Let's say whale tail perhaps too. Yeah, perhaps. It just looks like WHORE. To some extent. I mean, if you take a closer look, you know, like it's like, oh yeah, that's an A. I guess that's meant to be an L. But like, at a glance, very interesting. Anyways, thank you, Dubé. I'll bring my big booty waifu online some other day. Oh, I guess it's not my waifu technically speaking, but now what? What do I do now? I want to clean up the lines and then I'll go color or something. Yoisho. Is that right? I am in progress. I'm also trying to understand where I'm going exactly. I would love to know where am I going with this? I think proportions wise it's still a little odd. Oh, I know why. Wait. I know why. Hang on. So, wait a second. So Faye's head is here. Ria's head is here. It's very slanted. Holy shit. Those lines are not good. But if I go by the crotch, so Faye is here because she's further in the back. Ria is here. So the difference in the height here is less than from the hips. If they were the same height, I would expect the height to be the same, right? The only reason why this is less would imply that Ria is actually bigger. Almost. It doesn't really look like that, does it? But I feel like that would be the implication, would it not? Oh, wait. It's because, yes, thank you, Senduck_laws. You guys would be the first to know. Yeah, it's okay. I think I have to not fix this problem. Wait, okay, so what? Faye's entire body structure is a bit too small then? Is that what that is? That's my perspective. I think it was like somewhere here or something. What does that even mean though? Man, my brain's not running today. Does that mean she needs to be bigger? Okay. So what am I saying here? Do I like the current proportion? If I do, I guess I have to grab the whole thing. The hell that works? Should grab the back. So because of the angle that I place her at, she would be further back in the image here. But she's taller. Should be... So I have one character in front, one character slightly to the back, diagonally in front of the current character. I'm looking at no, but the horizon is near the head. I don't know why I'm struggling so much to imagine this. There should be a logical way to map this out here. Yeah, but that's a good suggestion. I just don't know where exactly my sort of angle here fits in. Let's say we have one. Guess there's no need to make it as difficult as. What if I just do it this way? Ignore this. And no, it's about the head level, right? So it's about here. I guess Faye would be diagonally across. Alright, so if I draw a top view, it would be this, that. Would it be like that? Alright, because if we're the same height, it would be slower in the... here. It would be like that instead. She's taller. Hmm. I probably need 3D for this. Yeah. Oh, okay, never mind. Oops. What did I? Oh, and she's kind of bent forward too. Oh my god. Just stretch her a little bit for now. Yeah, this is Post My Art if you it's for free. You can kind of play around with it a little bit. Let me see. Not really that much taller, I guess. The vibe that I'm going for. So this is a bit too much. Yoink. I might as well just reset this. I guess you can't just change the parameters. I guess not. Okay, just a little bit taller here. Let's say it's about here, right? And the reference The perspective is kind of hard to tell. I think the stuff in the back are all kind of slanted here and there. But I guess I do see the... Oh no, but what if that part of the ground is tilted towards us? Because it looks like it's on the side of a mountain. It's not impossible for that to be the case, but let's say it's not. That would have made the perspective like this. But no, it doesn't matter, right? It just matters what we want here. Well, let's say if it were here. So what is my color reference again? I'm slowly trying to come online here. My brain's not running correctly. If I want to show enough sky here, I think it might be more of a bottom-up kind of vibe. Because it depends on where the horizon is. So these horizons are around the shoulder, or slightly lower than the shoulder. That would be somewhere here, right? So given that that's the case, she's further in the back, so her crotch would be higher than my character in front, but maybe not by this much. It's kind of hard to tell. Maybe it's about right. And then she'll be a bit taller. Is this before or after rescale? This is after rescale, right? So this is already... Maybe I should have just moved her down. Maybe, and then a little bit bigger. 뭔가 지금 I don't know. Target is... I guess the shoulder width is not quite big enough. That might be part of it. Yeah, she's a bit further back than I expected because of the way I set it up, I think. Yeah, she's too far back, I think, still. The thing is, I don't feel it, so I cannot make the call. I don't feel it. That means that I think likely something is not right, but I don't know what it is at the moment. Let me think. So if I'm gonna go ahead with color rough, it's not really that big of a problem anyways. I can always control P after this. The original? No, I do not. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I do. Let's evaluate without it. Come on, broski. But she's also leaning forward, so I think the implication here is already enough. It is slightly better than yesterday. Yesterday's Faye is too small, I think. For sure she is too small. Ooh. Ouch. Yeah, I just have to go with this. 여기까지 이런 식으로. Should only these. One. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna try. I don't want to make a very clean set of lines. That would defeat the purpose. If we're doing painting, well, if we're trying to build a workflow for painting, I think the sort of transparency of the line is kind of helpful in giving me a little bit more color, right? It's easy to sort of put in some more color just on the line, the areas for the lines, right? And then you can soft light or hard light your way into the original set of colors. Oh, and into the other colors, and then you get a bunch more shades that way. So I do kind of want to keep it separate if we're prepping for something like that. I'll just keep it separate, but also like keep it more translucent. It's a bit more flexible that way. The eye and stuff, I think, as usual, I think we do need to have something more concrete, more black and white. So only for the eyes, I'll do this. Maybe the mouth too, actually. Maybe just the face contour where we have something hard and concrete. Everything else is meant to be a little bit more softer and a little bit less defined here. We likely won't end up actually finishing rendering the whole thing as before. I think we'll probably stop at some stage in the color rough. After color rough is done, I mean. And then we'll go on to the next one and plan the next one and draw the next one and so on and so forth. I want to do it till like all these color roughs are being pumped up like it's nothing anymore. And then that's probably when I can start to really open up some capacity for render studies. And then we just need to put the 2 and 2 together. Run through the process a few more times and then we should be pretty solid. And then yeah, and then we'll see. In terms of the actual final workflow and the process of creation, I think that we'll have to see at that point. Once we have all the information that I want to have. 저희 거칠 거 아니야? Yeah, I need to take over first. So. I don't feel like I'm very present right now. Oh my god, that's not lined with parsley. Dubious though, dubious. Oh hell no, brother! What the hell, man? Holy. Oy. とりあえずこんな感じかな And then I'm just gonna use a separate layer for everything else because it's gonna be a bit of a mess. Oh, I need it to be a bit of the mess, a mess for multiple reasons here, but I mean, maybe the area around the face at some point, I'll probably decide that, you know, hey, just this area here we draw very tight lines. Everywhere else just paint. But for right now, I do kind of want to just start detaching away from this idea of clean lines because it's going to be very detrimental because I'm going to get stuck for too long. Ideally, I mean, like, we should have just worked off of the sketch. Can I work off of the sketch, actually, from here? Wait, I think I can. Wait, hang on, let me see. I'm just gonna take out the eyes and stuff. I mean, I don't technically have to take out the eyes and stuff, actually. Wait, let me see. There's something here, I think. Wait a second. So now, wait, hang on. Let me just grab a box. Okay, I need to realign to my vibes from yesterday here. Primarily this. So give me enough of an idea. Alright, not like that. What was the proportion? Actually, I didn't really decide, did I? So, I guess we have to frame it ourselves here. Based on the original markings, it would be about here. Maybe a little bit up. Oh no, but that depends on the... Okay, never mind. Yeah, I cannot use it the other way. That'll be backwards. Wait, I mean, like, doesn't matter. I can change this frame anytime I want. Actually, it doesn't matter. Let's get the background in real quick. So I think in general, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy the background colors and then we'll tune the rest ourselves. Previously I was shit, let me think about previously. Okay, let's see. Actually, it's no different from what we did previously. The only exception being that this time around I have to push the colors a little bit warmer. Like there's one more light source. That's kind of it. So I'm just gonna put some colors in, I guess. Whoa, is that green? What's that? Let's pull the characters out real quick. So you got to go. Ah, so cool. Did I use a hard edge brush previously? How did I do this last time? No, I did not, right? I did not, yeah. Okay. Not quite. So I'm actually combining two steps here, I think. Actually, I'm not sure. So I don't think it's value because that's not what I have in mind. Maybe that is what I'm doing, but it's not what I have in mind. The important thing to me is I'm currently just blocking on the shape rather of anything to do with value and the colors. But I'm thinking the next step, what I'm about to do is to just put in the base colors under the lighting. So yeah, I don't know if that has value accounted for already. I think there is probably some amount of value being accounted for in my next step. Because I'll be doing it at the same time. Because I'm not doing like a black and white thing to decide on what's happening first. I'm just gonna kind of go ahead and do it. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure. But the thing is... Oh yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, I think that's a fair question that you're asking. What I was going to say that I don't think it matters anyway, what exactly is happening. But I guess it does matter. Like, that's what you're asking. You're trying to understand what's happening. Trying to catch myself in one of my stupid logical fallacies here. But yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm just blocking out the shapes for now to get a rough idea of what the silhouette is of the character. And then later on, I'll lock this. And then so I put in the colors roughly in each spot. The main thing that I have to try to take note of here is just to get the opacity to not be that messed up. Because this brush has opacity settings. I should be blocking out with something with a little bit more concrete. But I'm using the marker primarily because I'm trying to overcome that fear. There is a lot of sort of... What do you call it? Like, prejudice against this brush just because it makes a lot of shapes happen. But I'm doing it on purpose because I want to force the shapes to be in there so I can like get used to the messiness of painting, because otherwise I'll always be kind of scared and there'll be a bit of a problem, I think, potentially down the line. How am I looking at? Actually, this probably, the entire thing will probably be taken up as well. So now I have the two shapes in here. And I need to bring the individual colors in. So first of all, I'm probably going to desaturate both of these. It's going to get very distracting with so many colors here. Actually, let me think about this. I don't want to just desaturate the gray. I want to bring it to some kind of a blue, perhaps. I think, like the last time I did it, I had a much clearer idea in mind. So a lot of things locked in really quickly. Everything fell in place really quick. This time round is a little bit more... a little bit messier. Like, part of it is because we're not really used to the process. Part of it is now that there's two characters with two sets of colors. There's more clothing that I don't know what the color is going to be of. What? Anyways. So it feels a little bit more overwhelming, but... You know what? Let's bring both of them to the same color. Let's bring it to skin color first. Skin color under blue light, right? So I want to do blue light first because I don't want to have the fireworks... I don't want to be tackling the fireworks color now. just because it's going to be more work to do two things at once. Problem is how dark. Like the background here is not quite matched up yet. And I think value-wise the background might be higher. So I don't know what the dark color here is meant to be. Is that some kind of reddish gray kind of vibes I'm seeing? Maybe not that saturated, I think. Psyching myself out, I think. No, this doesn't look right either. Yeah, it's interesting. As I'm doing this, it feels like my mind is naturally being drawn to certain directions in terms of where they could be, what, like maybe on the beach, like that kind of stuff. I don't really want that at this point, I feel like. I don't really want to think of anything like that because it feels like it makes things more complicated rather than easier. Because having an idea might be good, right? But if I have an idea, I'm inclined to sort of evaluate if it's a good idea, if it's something that I do want or not. And then it becomes a little bit more distracting. Rather than just not having any and just looking at the colors as colors and nothing more than that. These skin colors are not dark enough. Not nearly dark enough, I don't think. I think the hair is, yeah, way too bright here. Right, because she's wearing brighter clothes, I think, in here. The ref here, and everything caught light. Now that I see it, yeah, the background here would be kind of interesting. There's a lot of problems to deal with at once. There's an easier way to do this, I suppose. You could put the base color in and just multiply it down. That could be a good way to get started, honestly. So you don't have to be so hands-on with everything. Alright, I need to decide on what the color of everything is. Yeah, the background being this dark kind of has its own problems, huh? Hello, Maxi. I can kind of see a vision here, but like, yeah, it's once again I kind of underestimated the like I kind of did not account for all of these things correctly. I should have noticed the contrast between the clothing and the background. That's how they got away with it. Because if my clothing is dark, it's gonna be a little bit harder. I can do sort of the same sort of the same setup here, but for them, it kind of works because it's an upper body shot, whereas we kind of see the legs. So in order for the water to stretch all the way here, for example, I think it's a little bit not impossible, but maybe they're kind of standing on like one of those seawalls that's meant to break the waves or something like that. And that could work. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be that 100% logical, I suppose, but and to start this re-enabling the opacity changes here. Some of the parts are not opaque enough, but it's fine for now. Let's see, Ria's hair is brown, reddish brown. We're gonna push it all the way down, I guess. What color is this? Yeah, it's too warm still. Yeah, I gotta push it over then. No way around it. Oh yeah, okay, this makes more sense. Be wearing white. It's not that she can. I mean, she... Am I too soft today? I don't know, but anyways, I think we are back. I think we're back. Anyways, good story. Yes, thank you, George. We are so back.いや、やらかしてますね。何しとんねん。OK。Yeah, it feels like she's kind of glowing. Glowing. Yeah, okay. Are they dark enough? Okay, now this is where the this thing probably comes in now. I need to bring in the value checking here. So as with the originals, the color moods references, our background is not really that dark, right? So the character kind of silhouettes because the character themselves are kind of dark, at least the parts that are in the shadow. And then again, we have the primary light source in the front, the warm light. So it's gonna be kind of like a sandwich. So I need to start to drop the values a bit more so that we actually have space to work with later. This process right now is the reason why I think it's okay to not focus on the rendering for now. Because this process here is going to be kind of tricky. And there's one more thing I kind of probably also need to think about, but I don't have to do it now. It's just how saturated do I want the overall thing to be? Because we can have very blue stuff like this, right? It looks pretty nice now, but then I think the saturated warm colors are gonna go in. Those will definitely be saturated. It might be too saturated, but we'll see. We'll do one thing at a time. So the background is a weird in-between between like bright but also not too bright because it is evening. So I think we'll probably lock the values at where we are now. And we are gonna have to just bring the characters down. I'm gonna cheat this by using a multiply layer just to get a feel for what the color feels like. And just so that both of them can get affected at the same time here. I'm gonna use a layer like this. Let's make them really dark for now. So they can't be too dark because then it implies that the background is... Actually, what does this mean though? Does this mean anything necessarily? I mean, either way, this is probably too dark. We can no longer even see the colors, which is not what I want. Actually, is that what I want? Maybe that's what I want. Wait, hang on. Because I'm doing this a little bit backwards, right? Because I'm deciding the... Yeah, like, I think this is being done a little bit backwards. Because if you think about it, the focal point, the focal and everything, the most important thing is the yellow and orange and reds. The warm colors that's in the foreground. If I do the background... if I do the shadow colors first, unless I have enough experience to know what the difference between the bright and the part that's in the light versus the part that's in the shadow. If not, it's really hard for me to sort of anticipate what's going to happen here. So I think before I go in and paint in everything yet again, and potentially having to do it again later, maybe we should figure out this part first. How do I do this part? This doesn't really look that good, like using screen here to put the colors in. Let me just ignore the whole idea of the color for now. I say that as I continue to sort of try to adjust the colors, but I'm trying to make it so that I split the work in half, right? So I want to get the rough shapes out first. You know what? Let's use opaque brushes here. It's just a little bit faster. So I'm gonna make the face get lit here. All these are gonna get lit basically. I'm gonna include the hand, even though technically it's gonna be the back of the hand that's gonna be in the shadow as well. But just for now. Oh, it's not locked to anything, I see. So like the sort of rough shapes I think would be target for now. Right, it's gonna be super duper saturated in this area. It's a bit too much here. It's kind of like we lost the original colors already. It could be done like this, I think. Because like, yeah, like if you look at the photo, right? Everything in the light is sort of just monochromatic warm colors. That's kind of it. So it is potentially doable like this. Oh wow, okay. Just normal is actually pretty interesting here. It is very strong though. Like I don't know if it's meant to be like this. Cause I suppose it is a pretty strong light source. Actually another thing that just kind of popped into my head is the color fall off here is probably pretty aggressive. The light fall off is gonna be pretty aggressive because the light source is strong, but it's not like that strong. I don't know if I'm using the words correctly. But so there's two knobs here that I need to turn. The background feels kind of bright now. Ooh, now I'm not sure because we're kind of venturing into different, like a different territory now. I think that's a different path that we can go down here with the colors that we have here. It's not the reference anymore, and I mean technically that's kind of a fail because we're supposed to go towards the reference here. But there's new place for exploration, and it's not inherently a bad thing. What if I come back to the previous setup here? It means the blue should come from a lack of orange or something. Right, but all my stuff is so adjacent that if I desaturate it, it just kind of disappears. Okay, let me think about this logically, right? So I can work towards the reference. I don't know what exactly that means though. I don't know what quite is the difference. I think value is a big difference that I see between what we have in this. So we could do that, or because I also sort of recognize the colors that I have here, and I think there's like probably a different direction that we can go. So either one kind of works. It's just which one do we want to try for? I think I'm gonna look for some references real quick and see what this other path is exactly. Right, because I see this, like stuff like this, you know, like How do you find stuff like this though? So the issue was, I think because of the difference in clothing colors, it becomes a little bit awkward to try to go for the original. So rather than having like the white clothing in the ref, it'd be like the same color for the hair, but for everything. Okay, I mean, makes sense. Okay, illustration-wise, I think I'm not sure which way I'm going. But thinking about the process, I think actually this this sort of pathway, this sort of uncertainty that I feel right now, I think is very logical. I think. So again, going back, like referencing back to what it was like for sketching. There will be so many times where you kind of sketch something, you kind of like it, you don't really know if you like it or not. That kind of a situation. It's gonna be repeated over and over for colors too. So the fact that we kind of got it in one try, basically the last time, the last thing we did, that is the anomaly here for sure. And I think as we go on here, I should be able to verbalize exactly what the difference was between the last one and this one. But currently the only difference that I sort of know is not really it's not very quantifiable because it's just a feeling. Last time I had the lock on to the sort of colors. And I think that same lock on kind of applied this time too, because if I just take off the light here, it doesn't look half bad, I think. Like most of the color feel like it sort of sits in within the environment. And I think that is a the kind of sort of thing we did last time, right? It's just sort of like setting colors into the same environment. So you know, what I'm trying to say is that at least I'm trying to convince myself that it's not so much that we got worse or like we are unable to perform today, but it's that we're adding enough complexity, that is by means of the additional light source, that we're basically going out of the our comfort zone here. So yeah, anyways, just to analyze what I'm feeling and if it makes sense, I think just want to make sure I stay on top of the emotions, because when it goes unchecked, it gets a little bit complicated. It's just nice to know that this is all part of the process as a matter of fact, you know. But I don't really find anything that I'm thinking of. I think, okay, so hang on. Yeah, like there's a lot of trickery you can do with colors, I feel like, because part of it is the environment and the lighting and all the like theoretically correct stuff, but then like sometimes if you're doing visual arts, right, like you might want to emphasize some colors just more than what they're supposed to be. So it's interesting. Like the number of correct answers is it's more than one. So having a good direction, understanding what I want is very important here, but I don't know, we don't have enough control over that right now. That's why there's this sort of indecision right now as to like what exactly is it that I want to do. Like this feels like it's also completely viable, like this current set of colors. We don't need to necessarily to make anything darker, right? We just kind of sort of continue down this path. Yeah, let's bring this a bit lighter here. Maybe not that bright. I mean, this is completely viable too, is it not? Like this, what would I decide upon? I feel like, so if we want to go for the original reference, the contrast between all the different parts is definitely lower. It's not as high as what we previously had. That makes sense, right? I mean, not that makes sense, but like because previously the other one had a bunch of multiply layers and the screen layer was turned up a lot stronger too. So contrast would actually be higher. That's not what I'm feeling from this piece here. But the overall balance of the parts is also different from that, right? So I don't think I'm able to get to the exact same vibes. So it's interesting. Again, it's going back to like if you're drawing something and you don't know, let's say you don't know, like there's different components to art, like perspective, anatomy, and colors and composition and value and all that thing, right? If you don't know any of those things, you draw something, you're evaluating it basically just on the overall final effect. And you're just like, do I like it? Do I not like it? And it becomes really hard to sort of pinpoint what to improve or change. So with the structure that we have now, we can kind of deal with that. But because even if you have those questions in mind, have the breakdown in mind, you still have to know where you want to be. So that direction is important. But then direction is also the kind of like the same problem now, because direction, what is direction? A direction is kind of like another set of answers to those same questions, right? That is encapsulated by the reference. So in this case here, this reference here is encapsulating a certain vibe, right? This vibe, we feel the vibe when looking at it because the artist answered those questions in a specific way that gives us this vibe here. But this vibe versus the actual vibe of the illustration, I feel like are two different things, because the actual vibe of the illustration is the feeling you get when you're looking at that piece that's in front of you. And it gives you that feeling precisely because of all the current balance of colors that they have on the canvas, right? This makes a lot of sense, right? I feel like what I see, and so everything that I see therefore sort of affects how I feel about it. But if I'm trying to replicate the vibe that I'm seeing, unless I give it the same proportions for color, like the same amount of area for white, like this in this orange glow and the sky in the background, it would never be the same, right? So when people say they want to get a mood board, a reference for mood and trying to capture the vibe, there will be a difference between what you're currently drawing versus what you're seeing. By sheer virtue of the fact that the areas of the colors will be different, unless you're drawing like a similar piece with the similar character and a similar setup. Then the match will be a little bit more one for one. But because our character's hair are a different color, and so on and so forth, it therefore makes it so that so I think what I'm saying may be very confusing because I'm also not very clear. But to me, I'm trying to set a sort of differentiate between going for a one-for-one mood copy versus like just taking the idea, right, of a girl in the evening playing with fireworks, and with this sort of more lighthearted, less not as contrasty as what we previously have sort of color palette. Then working with this just this sort of contextual understanding or this contextual idea, rather than like the visual vibes exactly that I'm seeing. I don't know if that makes sense. So what is the difference here? Let me see. I think currently what we have, is it because of the tree against? Yeah, like it's because of everything, George. It is really hard for me to replicate exactly what I'm seeing, right? Unless I have the same set of colors with the same ratio, if you know what I mean. Like, we feel how we feel about this picture precisely because she is wearing a white dress and it's contrasting against the dark trees, right? And her dark hair is contrasting against the bright sky. And the colors are the way that they are, right? This is like all of these things contributes to how we feel about it and the sort of original vibe that I felt from it. But because our characters have different color clothes and our environment is slightly different, our hair color is slightly different, right? Because of all of these differences, for me to replicate an exact sort of vibe that we're seeing here, I feel like it's pretty hard. Unless we have a similar set of colors. I'm not 100% sure if that's what I'm saying makes sense, even. Because as I'm seeing this, I'm understanding like what the differences is more and more by the second here. I can see why I feel differently. For example, like the skin color, right? It is a lot brighter on our side. Like just in general, the sort of orange that we have is brighter than what they have. So we need to sort of lower that a little bit. And then as for like sort of the blue, right? Like our characters have a lot of blue in them, whereas theirs don't. Like the shadows exist in a sort of orange-ish zone, like orangey grayish zone, whereas our shadows, quote unquote shadows, the part that's not hit by the fireworks light, is purely blue. Like it's just in the same blue regime as the background. And I think what we have is valid because it is very interesting in that, like, because of the blue, right? You know the characters are very, very clearly in the sort of environment that we see. And then there is the orange glow, right? Whereas for them, it feels like it's... the character is almost kind of detached from the environment. Kind of like how this guy, if you look at this guy, he feels like almost he's a little bit detached from the environment. The environment has so much more blue and so much more other colors, where he is just orange, this orange man, right? It's still part of the image because the contrast is the same, right? And the sort of dark shadows that he has kind of sort of matches up the kind of dark shadows that is in the environment. So I think because of that, he is like, you know, also in reality, they are in the same environment too. I'm just trying to sort of justify it, like understand it from a color sort of perspective. Okay, all that nonsense aside, like, so actually, I just realized, like, the blue color is on her dress here, right? That's very interesting because if it's still this blue under such strong orange light, if you look at everything else around the blue, right, on the patterns on the clothing, the blue patterns, everything around it is really orange. So presumption is that it is sort of a white kimono with like blue patterns, right? But the fact that it's still so blue, so noticeably blue and orange, being complementary colors means that the original blue is really, really strong. It's a very strong, vibrant blue, saturated blue. Because the orange light would have desaturated it. But as in like, it's interesting to me not because of that. I didn't really see it in that sense. I'm just noticing the blue in the sense that like this sort of blue kind of... Doesn't it seem like it's kind of setting her into the environment a little bit more? Because it's this sort of blue on her too, right? Otherwise, without the blue pattern, she would just be orange. Kind of like the orange man. And we have the orange girl over here. And she'll almost be a little bit detached from the background. Because unlike the man, the actual photo, her shadows are nowhere as dark. It's nowhere as dark as the trees in the back. So maybe she would have felt a little bit more floaty and on a separate plane of existence if we're not for those blue patterns. Perhaps. I'm just guessing here. It's kind of hard to imagine what it might have been like otherwise. I mean, we could go in and paint over it and see how it feels, but regardless, I think... Wait, hang on. What if I don't use screen? What if I use overlay here? I feel like screen doesn't really work that well. It's the same thing, huh? So let me think here, right? I have to decide on what I want to do. The problem here is I need to know what I want. So let me think about this logically, right? We started this piece, right? Question number 2 of my two questions here. We started this piece. The objective was simply just to have a different pose reference, have a different clothing reference, and then have a mood reference. And then we want to put it all together. So theoretically, like technically speaking, what we wanted was to get as close as to this reference as possible. However, getting into this stage at this point, we have sort of arrived at like a slightly adjacent solution, and it could be a viable direction as well to go in and experiment in. So let me come up with 2 paths here. So number 1, right? We go with trying to align to this direction that we currently see in the reference. What do I need to do here? What is the thing that I need to do here? I think previously I thought that this reference, like the character, was a little bit more like how I feel about what I have right now, rather than more like the guy that's in the photo, right? Because the guy that's in the photo, other than the, like, because of the value contrast, it feels like it's very different, right? And then the value contrast between what we have and what they have is a little bit closer. But I think in terms of color, if you look at the colors, the background is blue and sort of like whatever, you know, shadow for the trees that is over there. I just realized that the tree dark colors versus the obi over here, like the wrap here, versus the hair, they might be in the same sort of area. That'll be a good way to sort of tie the whole thing together. But I digress. What I'm trying to get at is that the character herself is more orange chromatic, monochromatic orange, rather than like having a more like sort of a bluish shadow. Right? I'm just looking purely at these colors here, not ignoring the blue patterns. There's kind of like an in-between, I suppose. Actually, we should also account for the blue color. It's not like I can just kind of... Because it is, again, like I said, part of the thing, right? So if whatever that we feel, therefore there must be a part of it. Okay. So let's say I want to get closer to this. What do I need to do? I mean, for one, I think aligning skin color might be useful, just so that we are in the same red value range. If I bring the skin color down and bring everything else down accordingly, we'll probably be a little bit closer. I might have to remove the blue from the character's shadow and turn them gray instead. Right? That would give us a more sort of monochromatic vibe. And then by virtue of doing that, we are disconnecting them from the environment a little bit, right? I don't know what would be tying the characters to the background. Because the background doesn't have any... What are we saying here, right? We're saying in a low light environment. So, okay, let me think about this logically. So in this photo here, the reason why the colors of the character, of the person, is so monochromatic is because it's evening, the sun is gone, there's basically no ambient light, right? There's no ambient light. And maybe because of how strong the orange color is, it makes it so that the very minute amount of blue in the shadow of the person is just basically not visible. Maybe that is how it is. Because the sky that we have tends to maybe suggest that we have more ambient light. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. So that's one direction. Try to get closer. Yeah, float versus grounded, Curio. The other direction is to keep this sort of bluish tone and also have the orange at the same time. So we basically just have more color. Wait. No, but the other guys also have a lot of colors, right? It's not really right to say that they don't have colors. It's just the shadows are... I don't know what exactly is the difference here. I'm at an impasse because I kind of like the sort of... I really like what's happening here. Just specifically what's going on in this region of Ria's clothing here. Because it's... What? Why can I not undo? What? What? Anyway, something bugged out. Is my keyboard stuck again? But okay. I kind of like what we have, is the thing. But I feel like as a practice, if I don't try to get closer to the original, like, because in the process of forcing yourself to go into a specific direction, I think you tend to learn a lot more of like just understanding what is the difference, right? Because if you want to go from point A to point B, you have to know the difference between A and B. Whereas what we have here is like kind of like, you know, we wandered around, we got to point A. It's not where we want to be, but we're like, yeah, point A is not too bad either. Right? So we're missing the final sort of bridge. But personally, I do also prefer this color vibe more, just because it's more colorful. So maybe I'll duplicate a set of the entire set of layer, and then we can try to pursue both directions. My tablet is constantly connecting and disconnecting. I don't know what it's doing. Bro, ski? Hello? Alright, my pen disconnected. Okay, let me restart the thing. Let me reconnect this real quick. This is so hard. I might have to, so I was thinking like how do I say this? Like the structure that I came up with previously, with like art as being a series of questions with the answer, and then a style is just a fair way of answering it. It is useful, I think, compared to not having anything in the past. It's definitely more useful than that, but I still think it's not very concrete, right? Like, because how are you supposed to use that specifically to get better at a specific thing? And yeah, right now it's kind of what we're experiencing. Like, I know that there is sort of a difference in color and whatnot. Like, so we could do a study. Yeah, I think it would make sense, right? So if I'm identifying the colors as being the problem, so I'm feeling like we didn't try to achieve the original mood that we had, that we were trying to go for. And that's primarily due to colors. And values, of course. You know, all those things come together at the same time, right? So if we can try and ask ourselves the questions of, what do I not like about it now? But that question needs to be framed with a direction. So yeah, by default, it would have been just like stuff that, what do I not like about it as my own person, right? But then we have to ask it in context with this respect to this thing here. And then we'll get to some point where we're unsure of. Sure, it makes sense, which is kind of where we were before, but now I'm a little bit clearer after talking it out. Yeah, but worst case, I guess I should have, we would have had to do a study, a color study of the reference here. And then that might give us a better idea of where we have to, what else we can try, exactly. Right, okay, sorry, I'm just going through this, the thing that I came up with, because I want to know if it is able to account for situations like this. That is all. So for this current, what I'm about to do now, I'm just gonna try and go for keeping the colors that we have right now. And sort of make the orange a little bit more interesting. Currently it's a little bit too bright, like sort of too light, rather. Not bright, just light. In the sense that you don't really see, am I supposed to be able to see that? I think so. I mean, it's monochromatic, so it's about the relative sort of values of each part here. Like Faye is wearing supposedly some kind of gray coat and some kind of gray scarf, but both of those have very close values to the face, right? So I need to do something about that. And also the face is probably also a little bit too bright like this. I kind of want to drop it down. I wonder if I could just lower this. No, but it wouldn't be strong enough though, is the thing. How do you... What? Why is it not reconcilable? I guess it's just a function of screen. So I can only then say that I guess screen isn't really the best layer mode for this, perhaps. Maybe there are other layer modes that is able to do this a little bit better. But like hard light perhaps, right? Where it really pushes the color in. But we might have to change to a different set of colors here. Let me see. Yeah, but making it work for some parts. Okay, so this is just probably how each different bait local color reacts with the thing differently. Because by the time I get like if this is the kind of value I want for the face, I feel like then the hair will be too dark or something like that. Anyways, I'm gonna do this manually. It gave us a direction, which I think is good enough. Beyond that, it's up to us, I suppose, to figure this out. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work. Very confused. But that's why we're here, trying to do all the difficult things here. But would that be... Okay, let me think about this. So if the clothing were brighter, whatever that was brighter would be brighter still, right? So Ria's case, her face is... What color is the... Well, why am I supposed to lock it to, right? Like something must be defined first, and everything else can align to that. I'm just gonna paint for a bit, I think. I'm not really sure what should be what. If I want this really strong orange here, right? Face hair is purple. What color would it become? Probably not like that, right? It's so hard to imagine what it would be. Like purple under orange light. Now, if her hair became this color, what does that mean about the original color then? Couldn't, yeah, this could work, couldn't it? If I zoom out, it's sort of this part on the left still feels a little purple, right? Which is what we want. Like we want it to feel purple still, but not actually use purple. This is not purple. Well, it's kind of pink, but you get the point. Then you want to lower the face a little bit, perhaps. The scarf, maybe I'll go for something a little bit darker. This is why I want to use the marker brush, by the way. There's like a bunch of random colors that's already on the board. And I feel like sometimes you can just pick from it and just kind of roll with it. It feels really dark. I mean, it could be the case though, right? It could very well be how it's supposed to be. And And then the other thing is like the clothing feels really weird now because okay, I suppose this is still brighter at this point. Right, like if you look at Ria's clothes, it's still technically brighter. But the contrast is getting really close. And it's starting to feel like almost as though like the so-called quote-unquote the part in the light is kind of darker than this that's not in the light. And a little bit confused. Yeah, there's like the logical part, and then there's also this sort of just go by vibes part. Like logically, I'm thinking about the scarf. I'm still thinking about the hair and all the other things. Oh no, actually primarily this part here was what I was thinking about. Because I was worried that this might get darker than this part here. And logically it shouldn't be, I suppose. Yeah, no, logically it cannot be, right? So it cannot be. But that doesn't mean I cannot make them really close, right? I can sort of kind of... I can have some play in sort of the creative... direction, I suppose, like the sort of vibes. I can just vibe check the thing and just go for vibes that I like, as long as I'm not making it too ridiculous. Right. So how much can I get away with, I guess, by the... I think logically I can trust kind of what I'm just feeling, because if I've been seeing a lot of things, like looking at all so many art pieces of art all these years, if something feels wrong, it probably is wrong. If something feels right, it probably is fine too. Like, I probably just cannot explain it, why it works, like what the logic might be, but it probably is still viable, I think. It doesn't have to be that tight, I think. I think maybe like your logic and like all the art theory and all that bullshit is supposed to just kind of bring you somewhere where you can kind of take over and be like, yeah, this is what I want now. I don't really care if it necessarily is making sense or not. It's just going to be, hey, you know, I like the colors, I like the vibes, I like what I'm seeing, and I'm just gonna go for it. Now we can have like a decently strong fall up here, like all of a sudden. I don't know why that might be the case, but it might add enough visual interest at the Terminator, right? And then all of a sudden it's like there's more color, that's sort of on theme, what? On theme? I'm not saying that's what I have here, by the way. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know if this is the kind of vibes that I... It's not quite right, but it's just a thought, right? Like, you can... At some point, you can probably just take over. Like, it works. It feels like it works, but... Does it work? This is probably like critique time. This is basically like, you know, I like what I have here. Are there any issues, right? And if there are issues, like, why is that an issue? Like, and how do I... Well, I mean, honestly, if you hear about why, you can probably be more aware of it and try to not make the same mistakes already at that point. That will probably be enough for you. Was that Las Meninas by Velasquez? Oh my god. I have zero ideas about Spanish. Okay, what is this? Oh, whoops. Shit. Better save this before I crash. A most important subject of the painting. Okay. Oh, oops. Let me bring up my comments. Develops the central for him. All periods of history, some family was accepted as truth and so. How long is this thing? Not that long. Truthful and valid. Others can be taken as witchcraft, magic, or heresy. That the condition of the discourse changes over time. Through general and relative changes in the what the hell is this word? Is knowledge or understanding? Okay. From one period to another, in his analysis of this, interested in finding another way of looking. For him, the painting represents conflicting viewpoints, multiple foci on the relationship between art and reality that involves our own gaze as we put ourselves into the abyss. The presence of the painter in his object of art, as well as the looking glass which, with the reflection of the couple, makes the observer think about what is central and what is at the margins for the painter. So he reverses the subject/object positions, destabilizing the subject which loses his fixity. What is this word? Okay. Where's the actual piece? I want to see the entire thing. Different light to expose each figure. If you think carefully, it doesn't look real. God damn it. What am I looking at, by the way? Like, is this a giant ass mirror in the back? Oh no, that's the room going into the back. Okay. I don't get it. Like light source on the right side. I mean, I'm gonna need this to be dumbed down. I don't get it. Different light to expose each figure. There's diagram. Okay, let me see. Oh, okay, here. Studio in, oh my god, in Madrid, the high-ceilinged room is presented in the words of as a simple box that can be divided into a perspective grid with a single vanishing point. In the center foreground stands the 5-year-old, two ladies in waiting who points to curtsy, who's poised to curtsy. I see, poised to curtsy. Okay, sure. Who kneels before offering her a drink from the red cup, who's her blah 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 blah, right? To the rear, This render in silhouette appears to hold a curtain on a short flight of stairs. It's uncertain whether he is coming or going. Who cares, right? Does it matter so much? Both this backlight and the open doorway reveal space behind the words of the historian. Our eyes inescapably they lure our eyes inescapably into the abyss. Both this backlight and the open door reveal the space behind. Where's the pics? You know, I never really got like the whole sort of like draws your eyes somewhere thing, other than like some very obvious certain things. Like, but in the case of this, my eyes just kind of wander around everywhere. I'm looking everywhere. I don't really feel like it's particularly drawn to anything. So I don't really relate to this exactly. Couple's reflection pushes in the opposite direction forward into picture space. The royal couple's reflection. Oh, these two. The vanishing point of the perspective is in the doorway, as can be shown by extending the line of the meaning. is seen only by the king and queen who share the viewer's point of view, not by the figures and not by the figures in the foreground. Who is Nieto again? Oh, this guy. Okay. In the footnotes of the recognizes that Nieto was the queen's intendant and was required to be at hand to open and close doors for her. Scientists suggests that Nieto appears so the king and queen might depart. And the context on the painting argues that the scene and that's why. Okay, like I don't really see anything so far like of other. Let me see. So maybe. Image of the king and queen is a reflection from his canvas. Okay, in front of it is obscure from the viewer. The canvas is shown working on is unusually large for one of his portraits, and note that it is about the same size as this painting itself. The painting contains only known double portrait of the royal couple painted by the artist. The point of view of the picture is approximately that of the royal couple. Widely debated. So I don't really know what any of this has anything to do with the thing. Like, I don't care for any of the information, I think. Like, they're trying to talk about how they're interacting, who they are, and like the backstory and stuff like that. But I'm only interested in the... Okay, so maybe it's here. What was I reading? Subjects. Okay, I guess that makes sense for this section. So there's composition here. Mirror and reflection. And interpretation. Influence. Let me read the comp real quick. Where's comp here? Paint it into quarters horizontally and sevens vertically. Sorry, what does that mean? Divide it into quarters horizontally. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a look. 1, 2, 3. How is it divided? I don't really get what divided means. The grid is used to organize elaborating a grid with common device at the time. Presents 9 figures, 11 is included, yet they occupy only the lower half of the canvas. According to this, the painting has 3 focal points. The girl in the middle, the self-portrait, and the half-length reflect the images. So here, here, and here? I don't know, man. I kind of like what's happening here, too. And it's painted the complex group. Like, the painter must carry in his head a single consistent scale of relations which you can apply throughout. You may use all kinds of devices. Perspective is one of them. Ultimately, it's the truth and a complete visual represent the one thing. Truth of tone. Okay. Wow. Okay. Like, I have no idea. Like, these are drawing. Maybe summary color is drab, but if the relatives tone of the picture will hold. Okay, now they're debating the focal point again. So, once again, I don't really know what the significance of this is. Layers of shapes in particular are stated through the use of tone. Okay, so you get like the foreground, the middle ground, the background. Sure. This composition element operates within the picture in a number of ways. First, it appears of natural light within the painted room and beyond it. The pictorial space in the midground and foreground is lit from 2 sources by thin shafts of light from the open door and by broad streams coming through the window on the right, So this middle region kind of takes a bit of light from there and a bit of light from here, I guess, is what they're saying. The 20th philosopher observed the light from the element of both the studio foreground and unrepresented area in the front of it. Oh, sorry, in front of it. Okay, in which the king, queen, and the viewer are presumed to be situated. So for this, light divides the scene into 3 distinct parts. Foreground, background, lit, strongly lit. Between which the darker and intermediate stairs. Yes, I can see that. Thank you. Uses this light not only to add volume and definition to each form, but also to define the focal points. As light streams on the light, on the braid and golden hair of the female little person who is nearest to the light source, but because her face is turned from the light and in shadow, its tonality does not make it a point of particular interest. Don't get it. I do not get it. It's very much a point of interest for me. I don't really get some of the terms that they're using, I guess. Like, why is it just because... Like, what does tonality mean here? The color scheme or range of tones used in the picture. So just... basically, they're saying she is painted in a way that makes her not of particular interest. I see. So I'm not looking at the correct colors then, Kirio? Oh, I see. Is this one? Okay. So this is better. This is better, I suppose. If this is what it's supposed to be. I mean, like... Right, okay, this makes more sense, right? Like, now there's more of a focal of this and this. I would argue, like... I mean, it's still kind of interesting. Her face is still very interesting, but... Sorry, you brought this up because of what? Uses different light effect to expose each figure. If you think carefully, it doesn't look real. It isn't look real. I'm assuming you mean it doesn't look real. I don't know why you would say it doesn't look real. It looks fine to me. And different light effect to expose each figure. I can see that, I suppose. Like, there's a group of people in the front that's directly lit. There are these two that are sort of lit by bounce light only. And then there's this guy in the back who is also by bounce light from the front of the stairs, perhaps, or maybe there's a window here. But silhouetted against the sort of brighter part. These, like, are supposedly king and queen, I guess, are also lit by direct light. I can only assume. Oh, what is this? Sorry, where was I? Holy shit. Right, Curio. Sorry, I just don't know what point you were trying to make exactly. Are you trying to say that because paintings are never real, you can just make whatever you want happen? So I can just do whatever the hell I want over here as well? Is that what you're trying to get at? By use of data for shapes. The light models develop metric geometry of her form, defining the conic nature of... What? Okay. There are too many words I don't understand. Like, I know these are just basically clothing and stuff, but it's very distracting. Back to direction. Okay, yes, thank you, Kirio. I see. Also, I'm yeah, like all these oh my god, all these breakdowns of art. Like, okay, like I don't really get stuff like this. Both of whom looks towards the viewer from similar angles, creating a visual tension. What does that mean, bro? Like, what does that mean? What? Draws the attention is important, is marked tonally by the country. place triangle of light on the artist's sleeve, pointing directly to the face, like over here. Okay. The glowing ovals are plainly turned directly to the... but in the opalescent sheen of the mirror surface... What glowing ovals? What are they talking about? Oh, the face, maybe? They're referring to the face. The viewer cannot distinguish the features of the king and queen, but in the opalescent sheen of the mirror's surface, the glowing ovals are plainly turned directly to the viewer. Pointed out that apart from adding suggestive gleams at the beveled edges, the most important way the mirror betrays its identity is by disclosing imagery whose brightness is so inconsistent with the dimness of the surrounding walls that it can only have been borrowed by reflection from strongly illuminated figures of the king and queen. Maybe it's just because I don't really read that much. I find language like this a pain in the ass. Like, I think it's because I don't read anymore nowadays. Oh yes, thank you, Kirio. Have a good night. Like stuff like this, if I were to write it, I would just be like I would just do it in point forms. That's all I do at work now. Just write stuff in point forms. Because it's so long to read. You're just saying that it looks like a mirror because you can see a bevel edge and the lighting is very clearly very different from the surrounding. That's it. You don't have to form such a complex sentence to bring forth the idea. To put forth the idea, I suppose. To convey the idea. Anyway, convey the thoughts. So the king has the double within the painting and dimly lit forms of chaperone, and guard, the two who serve and care for their daughter. So we have like these positioning, like, okay, whose story, bro? Like, I feel like composition honestly has always felt a little bit too abstract for me. It's very hard to really break down. Like, for example, like the direction stuff. I think the direction stuff is easy to to know what the people are talking about, but I don't necessarily have always really truly felt it, the effects of it. Like, I think I would have really hated art if this was what I had to deal with, like, all day long. Like, also, I see some comment on the Twitch side. Hang on, let me... Oh, someone's trying to... hello, Jennifer. If I can make some arts for your channel, if you don't mind. I don't know if you're still here, Jennifer, because I imagine that message has been around for a really long time. Because I cannot read Twitch chat, but just in general, as a general reply, I appreciate the offer, but I don't have anything that I want people to draw, because I just need I need to do it myself for it to have meaning for myself. So thank you again for the offer, but not at this point in time. What was I talking about? Anyways, yeah, like this. If this was art, I would have stopped doing this a long time ago. I think. Oh my god, it's is it that different from what I'm doing? Maybe not. I think. But like all the history and all the breakdowns and stuff, I guess there is meaning to that for the people who want to find out. I mean, it would make sense, right? Like that's what like storytelling is. Why does it sound so unnecessarily complicated, though? I guess that's kind of what I'm feeling. It's just really complicated. Oh, God, made it bigger. Yeah, it's too much. It depends on the angle. Pretty sure we borrowed something for it. Yeah, that's for sure. I think that's for sure. I think too many things hit me at the same time. The fact that I don't really read. Also, I'm looking at my my main monitor. I just realized this is really red. This is a lot redder than I thought it was. But I have to take it in the whole as a whole though. So, anyways, I think too many things happen at the same time. The fact that I don't really read, so the really sort of somewhat convoluted sentence structure is a little bit confusing. Plus all the words that I don't know, plus all the like the more abstract concepts that I don't really think in terms of. Then it's just everything is just like all of a sudden it's like holy shit, it's such a pain in the ass to read. But it's very interesting. Thank you, Kirio. By the way, I thought you left. By the way, but anyways, have a good night. Is her? Wait, is her? Oh, I see. This sag is a bit more than I expected. I mean, this in and of itself is fine. Like this is already fine, right? Like what we have here. This is workable now. Tono just means value? Okay, I see. Why is it reacting differently? Oh, because of the soft light layer? Wait, what? Right, because I'm picking the combined version between the color and the soft light. I'm painting it on a layer that then is affected by the soft light again. I see. Cool story. Cool story, bro. Holy shit. I mean, it's kind of it though, right? This is kind of like the colors that I wanted, I suppose. Beyond this is really just kind of cleaning up the shapes now. I think we kind of got what we... Did we get what we came here for? I hope we did. Right, that's the other option too. I have to try the other option too. Also, this part feels a bit odd, I think. The way that this kind of is spilling out the... Let me put the firework in there too, actually, before I forget. Yeah, it says pure yellow or something. Right. Let me think. Because I think that tends to happen with illustrations. I think that is fine. So let me think about this logically, right? So technically, we set out to do something else than where we are right now. There's some loss in that, but at the same time, like if we figure out colors that we like, I think that's also very fair. It is part of the process too, to figure out like the kinds of color that we would rather paint with, rather than something that's naturally realistic, right? So let me take a step back here. What I like and what I not like. I kind of like the colors that we do have, especially like the sort of blue on the characters that kind of put them into the scene. That I definitely do like. I'm zoomed really far out so I can get a vibe, by the way. It's a bit harder to see. I think the play between the orange is kind of okay. I guess Faye is kind of not as orange enough compared to how Ria feels like right here. Let me bring that a little bit closer to orange. Wait, no, she's not supposed to be because she's not technically wearing white. The effect on her would be a little bit different. Should be a little bit different. But it could also be that the light is so strong that it kind of... Wait, let me think again. Because the only difference is gray and white here. We don't have any other local colors. Oh, the hand should probably be more yellow than this, so that we can really show that it's very close to the light here. Maybe not yellow though. Maybe not like that. Maybe just brighter then. Maybe not even. Right, so what I do like is the colors, I think. It looks fine. I think. At our current level, I think this looks fine. What else? I like that there's a good variety of sort of transitional tones between this as we go down. I didn't really choose this based on any ideas or any theories. It's just based on what I wanted to try and what looked good. It looks like it's just a straight line down though, for the most part. We're not doing any C curves or stuff like that. And what else? That's kind of it, I guess. What do I not like though? 뭐 즐거운 전에. What did I not like about that though? I'm not really sure. Maybe the background looks a bit boring. I don't want anything that is remotely orange in the back. It's kind of hard to see how Faye is standing. I think it's a little bit awkward. But it is what it is. Because I can't show her hand going to the back. There's no space for that. It is what it is, indeed. I mean, as long as we get colors out, I think it's a success. Anyways, so we are making good progress. I hope. Did you try sleeping, George? Oh, you did. You did say yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were. Yeah, okay. I got confused. I thought Kirio was the one leaving, and I didn't even realize that he made the correction. My head feels kind of heavy today. But it is what it is. Welcome back, George. Beyond this point, it's truly just executing the sort of coloring stuff, rendering. And as with this cuts, I don't think I want to go down that route just yet. I want to make it so that we can churn these things out like non-stop. Yes, thank you, George. What is Faye's eyes color again? Right, it's red. It's so weird seeing her happy all the time. That's not what a character is meant to be. But as long as she's with Ria, this is our reality here. Oh, whoops. Oh man, how's the light gonna reflect off of her eyes though? Surely there's gonna be like a speck here that's... I mean, actually the only highlight will be because of this, would it not? So this is the sphere of the eye, right? Or the highlight will be somewhere here. How does it work again? Oh shit. Head. And then the highlight kind of here. Not really though, right? I mean, it depends on the light source. So here, bounce. Be more on this side, I suppose. Because the sphere is here, that's why it makes it here. It's on the still on this half of it. Broski, whatever. Yeah, put it in the middle or something. Is Ria's eye color again? Oh yeah, right. There's two separate colors, I forgot. Let's just make her the same then. Oh no, it'll be further back, right? From this side. Oh no, she wouldn't have that, I think. Hey, broski. Yeah, this process is pretty viable, I think. This change while into so like this whole thing makes it, yeah, this current workflow. Okay, I'm trying to constantly restarting my sentence because I don't know what I want to say exactly how I want to say it, but it's nice. We have a good sort of process where we do sketch, we go from sketch into color rough, right? The sketch sort of helps with the color rough by providing more color and also holds the form. That means the color rough can sort of proceed at a really fast pace, right? And then if we just hold on to certain like, how do I say this? Like, continuing from this point out, really is just identifying what the focal is. So like the face, the hands, that kind of stuff. Provide a clean set of lines for those parts first. And just paint everything. And then we can just kind of go. Okay, so I see what the structure is, right? I see what the structure is. Let me write this down. So the process, oh my god, this is not gonna be legible again. Process. So we do so sketch. So this part here is the construction. Well, actually the ordering is kind of wrong. It should be composition. Then the construction. So this is stuff like perspective, anatomy, and the props, like whatever there is, if there is anything. And then this is a 1B thing. So a set of cleaner, so it's a slightly cleaner sketch. And then 2 will be the color rough. Oh, sorry, this is step 0 actually. This is ref. Specifically, we need mood, anatomy. Did I put 2 A's there? Oh my god, stop it. Anatomy. Like let's say clothing. And then if rendering, we need more stuff like so if rendering, let's just do more. If rendering, right? Currently we're not rendering just yet. So we have these steps here, the color rough. So make use of lines on soft light. Can add color to lines too, right? We haven't really played around with the lines here. At this stage, it's kind of a little bit late. I should have added a little bit of color to the lines here, either by character or by region or anything, so that it actually kind of helps to have some play in here. So I can make this blue, but it's a bit too strong. I mean, soft light is a little bit... I think soft light is enough because it... Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. You know what? I kind of forgot because the color rough might include shit like this, where we kind of color in all over it. So maybe not. Maybe not. So let's just say maybe. Maybe not. But then the third would just be render. But then within color rough, so somewhere in this process there is a sort of actually no, it's actually part of render technically. So let's say final clean lines only where needed. So this would be stuff like the face, focal, etc. So it depends on each one. And then the layer structure will be something like this. So we will have our roughs. So this is the sketch stuff, right? This is all the construction stuff. On top of it, we will have our sort of cleaner sketch. Oh no, it will be here somewhere. Cleaner sketch. The color rough layers. And then we might have some adjustments. Let me think. Adjustments could be... It could be on top, it could be below. It's kind of hard to say. The current structure that we do have is underneath the sketch lines themselves. So I'll just put it here for now. And so this here would be on soft light. This is various blend modes here. Bro. Various blend modes. And then on top of this is a paint over. And this is our render. Right? So this is the paint over layers, I guess. This is a set of layers. Actually, so are these, like... So this is a set off and this is a set off. Paint over layers. This is our render. And then on top of here is our clean final lines. So there is one more thing. Okay, so let me move this out for a little bit first. So I'm getting really excited because we're finally sort of starting to put it together. Like a sort of very comprehensive front to back, everything accounted for, clean process. So this thing is interesting because this is what's happening with the eyes, right? You can see like the eyes are very tight and very held. That's because it's all on top. So what that means is that when I'm painting, right? When I'm actually going to go in and paint, I'll be painting over the lines and the colors that we have on the rough, along with the adjustments. Currently, the adjustments... Oh, okay. So this is interesting. So this adjustments is not an adjustment, strictly speaking. This adjustment is for a very specific purpose. This adjustment is for putting in lighting only. It's not like an adjustment layer where you sort of add gradients and a bunch of stuff. I want this to just be... You could be using soft brushes, right? You could be using airbrushes to add gradients in. But what I'm saying is this is not the final adjustment layer. So this thing only accounts for certain sort of colors that I want in the local region, but not so much like an overall thing. So let's just call this local region only. So if global, need to move, I think, on top. I think this part is the part I'm not sure yet. Because suppose right now, right, the only adjustment we have right now is a screen layer, I think it was. Right, they sort of added the primary set of sort of glow in there, and then we painted on top. So this works because my color rough... I guess my color rough is... You know what? Wait, hang on. God damn it, dude. This is a subset of this, I think. Yeah, so this is what I mean by I'm not sure yet. I don't know where, if it can even come out with something that's super duper clean here in terms of organization. A lot of it really doesn't really matter too much in terms of like, hey, should I use like layer modes to put in colors or lighting and stuff like that, or should I paint it in, right? Like none of that matters. If you know what you need to do, you just do it. But like in the spirit of sort of coming up with a model, a structure here, I do want to just make this as clear as possible, as comprehensive as possible at this stage in time, right? So we have the rough, we have our cleaner sketch, we have the color rough layers that may include some sort of adjustment layers. Usually when I say adjustment, I'm expecting stuff like a giant airbrush that goes over everything. So for example, I'm thinking of stuff like, let's say I put overlay at the very end here, and then I just kind of like, you know, add in some sort of localized, I don't know, like this kind of vibe stuff. It changes the thing a lot right now. I'm just trying to show a point. So it may very well be that if you get the colors done correctly, there may just be no overlay and no sort of adjustments at the very end, right? You may still have certain adjustments, like for example, I might want to use a sort of tone curve here and then make like a bunch of weird shit happen, right? It may be the case that we want to do this, but these things will only be done at the very, very end here. This is like what I mean by the global sort of adjustment layers. Although in this case, actually, it doesn't necessarily have to be global yet again, because like we might want to use tone curve to add some interesting sort of variations. You can see like the hair colors, you know, kind of changes. In this case, we don't, because we want to hold on to our colors here very tightly. But if it were something a little bit more interesting, shall we say, where the mood isn't necessarily that strong and it's more about adding visual interest, visual detail, and trying to get it to pop out as, to come across as technically impressive as possible, then maybe you want to do this earlier so you can get in colors into to play with, to paint with. So it depends what goes where. But so actually these adjustments are specifically talking about layers that I'm gonna paint over on top of, like, because the payos are on top. If they're global stuff, we will likely have to move it on top at some point before we do the paint over, and do what Uni suggested, which is to have these layers turned on top. So these layers get moved up, they remain on, but then our color picker will only pick from the current layer, which will just hopefully be just the paint over layer. In such a situation, we might even have to collapse everything here into a single layer to paint on top. So it's not quite set. But the reason why I got excited was because previously I was thinking of, you know, if we're painting, that means we are sort of painting over the lines, painting over all the edges, right? I was talking about how, like, in the final version, the final illustration, you have to have certain hard edges. You have to have clean edges, hard edges, and soft edges, and lost edges, stuff like that. And for me, like, the preference is to do it in the lining stage. You have the lines to hold everything together. You don't have to worry about it ever again. But painting means that I want to sort of skip the process to make it faster, right? So I don't have to draw lines everywhere, because there might be areas where I don't want lines. But doing so means painting over the sort of rough sketch, and that would mean inherently you're going to sort of lose that edge, and you have to find it again with the colors. So it'd be a little bit awkward. Like, say for example over here, if I want to paint it, I would have to do something like, you know, especially if I don't want this color here, by the way, that makes it even more trickier, because, like, let's say I don't want this color here. I have to remove this edge here. Now I don't see it anymore, and then I have to find the edge again with just the color. So I have to do double the work, because I already had an edge where I wanted it to be. It's just that the color isn't what I want. But because it already exists there, right? If it already exists here, even if I use this color here, you know, you still have to refine the edge. Like, there's no way to sort of reuse it. But then I don't know why I didn't think of this before, is that I could just make use of a layer on top here. This is not even really a breakthrough for most people. I think this is, for me, a breakthrough. Just fucking use a layer on top, dude. Like, why am I not, say for example, making a layer on top, right? Maybe find another color that I want to use and keep that edge there first. Go back to the paint over and down below. Now if I erase, there is a little bit of a margin there, right? Like, I can control this edge so much better because there's a bit of a width that I can work with. Rather than finding the edge with this color, I'm holding it with the other color based off of the original shape I already have, that I've already drawn. That's great. And but anyways, so the workflow would be sketch. Let's use colors here, it's easier to see. So sketch, cleaner sketch. It will be the color roughs and adjustments, followed by maybe some amount of clean lines. So it's kind of hard to say which one comes first. I think possibly, like, this might be either 2A, so a secondary step to 2, or like a step in 3 as well, or like a step in 4A. So it just depends on at what stage of the process we need to define that edge. As we're going through, probably actually not 3A, I think. 3A likely wouldn't need the thing. So more likely in just these two stages here. And then on top of that, we have our overall adjustments. Now it looks like I'm bolding this. Let me change it. But yes, Duve, I have always mentioned that I wanted to go into painting. But at least with respect to that, previously when I was thinking of going to painting, I wasn't really thinking of like outright painting. I thought I was going to paint for a bit and then get better at rendering and stuff, and go back to doing lining first. But I think as of right now, it seems like I'm slowly leaning towards this new process, simply because it's way faster, right? It's way faster. It also forces me to not be so uptight about the lines, which is a huge sort of time sink, and causes me to get caught up on a lot of stupid things. So far in my life, it has been Yeah, as much of a bane as it was a boon. Actually, I don't know which if bane or boon is which one is pros and which one is cons, but it's about the same, I think. The fact that we have lines makes it really like comfortable for me because I know that some of the hard work is already done, and it's right there. And worst case scenario, line art still art, right? It's still complete. Whereas in this process here, it's still art, right? It tells more story, in fact, with the colors and everything. It's just a lot rougher. So it's just a different type of beauty, I suppose. A different direction. But regardless, currently it seems like I'm leaning towards not having lines. But I do enjoy the very clean set of line art. So we'll see exactly where we end up down the line. But currently, as of right now, painting is definitely going to be the main thing because it deals with the correct amount of colors that I want to deal with. If I had done my usual thing where I just kind of block in one ship by one ship on each layer, the tendency is that the colors tend to stay very constant. It's really hard to get gradients in there. It's really hard to get midtones and like various different shades and hues in there. Even as it is right now, it's still pretty difficult to go for stuff that's kind of adjacent, right? For example, like the shadow here is primarily blue. But, you know, there's people who add in greens in here. People who add in different other types of grays in here. But regardless, right? Like, doing it in a sort of painting way is definitely easier to do. So this will be the current structure at this point. Actually, I forgot something here. The second set of paint over, actually. There's another set of paint overs on top because there are certain lines. Ah, god damn it. Oh, okay, no, it came back. My tablet pen didn't work again, but there's a certain set of there, like some of the lines should be overlapped. To add some depth. So this is this part here I'm not sure, just because you can imagine like when we do paint overs, there will also be a lot of overlapping forms perhaps that we want to put in there. So the clean lines versus paint over sort of concept is not going to be that tight. In fact, I can argue that this probably is a constant repeat. Like this here is sort of a set of actions that kind of happen. Like there will be multiple sets of these essentially. There will be some paint over, then some clean up of lines, then some paint over on top of those lines, and then some more cleanup. Yeah. This is exciting. I think this is exciting. We're slowly sort of going into being able to actually do colors. So, like actually, like with what we have here today is very satisfactory. This is very satisfactory. Like if we can, like currently I'm not rendering just simply because I want to just go through more colors like this, right? So in the coming months, I'll probably just do more and more of this, but you know, like this is enough. Like if we have this amount of colors, this kind of I wouldn't even say mastery, but this amount of skill is already enough to start creating, right? Then once the rendering gets also a little bit tighter, then it's all about the ideas then that's where we truly sort of do design, and we can do composition, and we can do all the actual things that help you communicate ideas in a more higher level way. And I can maybe finally understand the Wikipedia entry about the thing we were just reading. But yeah, read a bit. Okay, right, actually let me check. I kind of forgot about this, but it's a bit more muted like than I was thinking of, like in terms of like, say for example, between the hair and the background here. This part is also not necessarily as bright, but I think because of the values that we have, sorry, the hues that we have, it is pretty good. I think it's one of those situations. Let me check the reference mood here, because I imagine this is probably gonna be pretty similar, right? Oh, but yeah, this one here is they have this very good setup here. There's like 30 points of contrast here and like 30 points of contrast here. So the planning on that side is I guess tighter. Ours is kind of like just, if I drop the lines for example, I think we would be a lot more unreadable yeah, it's a lot less readable than this per se, right? This doesn't even have lines. So with regards to this issue here, I'm not really 100% sure. I like what we have here. I'm just not 100% sure what the gap is. Is it because, like, so I guess we could have also maybe made the hair darker or made the sky brighter, but the mood would have changed, I feel like. Yeah, it is clear enough because of like it's clear enough already, right? Like, so I feel like, you know, if we want to capture the original mood, but it's also not quite the same. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure yet. I think eventually we'll find some answers to these sort of, you know what, I won't even be finding answer. I'll be trying to find the question first, because I don't really know what exactly is the gap here, what the question that I want to ask is. But regardless, we set out to do something. We didn't hit exactly what we wanted to do, but we found a viable solution, I think. A satisfactory solution, rather. And it's good. It's pretty good. So we're on our way. I kind of forgot about Face Tail. I also don't really know the background. But anyways, yeah, like, just looking at the colors, it's alright. Alright, bro. It's alright. Maybe it could do with more ambient occlusion, but then I feel like stuff like that kind of changes the vibes yet again. I think the vibes is the sort of lack of very dark values and very bright values, but just kind of hovering somewhere in the middle. Having a tighter range of values and relying more on just the like you said, the duvet, the temperature, the warm and cold colors. Right. I mean, logically, at the end of the day, it's about like the idea that's being conveyed, right? So I wanted to convey the sort of light, the warmth of the light. And I think it is there. Okay, but anyways, I think that's basically it for today. Tomorrow I'll likely just find something else, and then we'll just embark on a new journey yet again, right? Currently, it took us what? It took us so the previous one that we did, the previous blah blah blah. Where is it? Here. So this one that we did, it took us like one stream. Like, it took us 2 hours actually to get here, and it was because we didn't really have to deal with a lot of anatomy stuff. We didn't have to deal with proportion and sizing between two characters. We didn't have to deal with hands, for example, right? And the background was simple. So within 2 hours, we could go from idea to rough sketch to colors, and then sort of bring it somewhere decent to convey the mood, right? But this new one, it now has two characters. You have to match the sizing. You have to find the perspective a little bit better. There's also one additional light source. We have to also figure out the anatomy slightly more. Put on some clothing that we do not have direct references for. And so all of those things kind of made it longer. But even then, it took us like maybe like 5 hours. 5 hours maybe? 5-6 hours. Because yesterday's 3 hours, right? I think. Today, like, first half an hour, I was really just trying to figure out how. Oh yeah, I guess it counts. So basically 6 hours. Took about 6 hours to get here. And it's pretty good. I mean, like, it's clear enough to see what the idea is. So really, if I want to just write story now, I could actually just use this and write story, I suppose. Right. I could do like a painting like this. I can turn my attention to music now. And then come up with an idea of a scene, draw the illustration in this really rough way, and then have a music to go with it, right? Then that might actually convey my idea better than just simply a really well rendered piece, like a singular really well rendered piece. But we'll see. Anyways, that's all the rant I have for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow for more of the same. Art, of course, not ranting, but thank you guys for coming. As a good beginning to the year, I would say. And have a good night, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for coming, and good night. Goodbye.